Alright, how's it going, guys? My name is Alan Bolda, and Josh Burke's going to be joining me in just a second, and we're going to go over the HoverMatt and HoverJack as part of our workplace safety series. Now, I want to start off really briefly about reviewing just a few basics of Assembly Bill 1136, which requires all hospitals to provide us with safe patient lifting equipment to give us a no-lift, I guess a no-lift policy. Alright, so first of all, Assembly Bill 1136, we have all this equipment, HoverMatt, HoverJack, Sarah Steady, Golvo, Lyco, everything. What point is it if you don't use it? So please make sure you have this equipment available, ready, and you use it. All right, we have it at both campuses. Make sure we use it. So HoverJack, HoverMatt. So what I have here are two pieces. I got the HoverMatt. All right, this is the HoverMatt. The HoverMatt, keep in mind a couple things here. The width of it. All right, it is wider than an actual gurney. All right. Secondly, the way you position the patient on here, when you put the patient on here, you want to make sure the patient is centered. If they're slightly off, when you inflate this, there's a possibility that they could tip right over. All right. There's also two sides to it. Make sure the blue side, which is the shiny side, put that face down. All right. So when we plug this into the blower, it's actually hovering. All right. And lastly, there's also a head and a foot end to this. You can take a look right over here. This is the foot, all right, and the other side is the head. And this is the connection where we're going to connect the blower. All right. Underneath the HoverMatt, we have the HoverJack. Keep in mind the weight limit on both of these is 1,200 pounds. So if you by chance you do have a patient that weighs over 1,200 pounds, probably not. You probably do not want to use these. All right. We don't get those too often, but when we do, we need more than this type of equipment. Now, the HoverMatt is for safely transferring a patient from bed to bed. All right. For the sake of this, we're gonna demonstrate both the HoverMatt and the HoverJack. Now, the HoverJack is to take a patient who's on the floor, who fell on the floor or just happens to be on the floor, and take them safely from floor position all the way to the level of a bed. All right. So that's what we're gonna be using today, and I want to show you really briefly all the different valves over here. You have some red valves over here, or red covers to deflate it. Then you have inflation valves. All right, they're one-way valves. Valve 1, inflate first. Valve 2, second, third. And what it does is it goes in layers. So each one that you inflate, it will increase it by that layer. It'll increase it incrementally as you start inflating it more and more. All right. So the way to properly put the patient on here. The patient is on the floor. For the sake of time, I'm just going to have our lovely volunteer, Christine. She's just going to come over here and just lay down center on here. All right? Hey, Christine.
Hi.
Now, in reality, you would do it like you'd be changing sheets. You'd have to have the patient turn to the side, slide it underneath them, turn them to the other side, and get this centered. The key piece here is make sure they are centered. If Christine is slightly off to the side, all right, they have the capacity to tip right over as you start inflating this. All right, let me show you the blower. Here is the blower. It is not battery operated. You have to plug it in. All right, there's no batteries. Got to make sure it's plugged in. And it's just like a regular shop vac that you see at the mechanic shop. There's only one button on here, your power button. All right. It's going to get loud here in just a second, so I'm just going to explain really quickly what we're going to do. We're going to take the connector, which is basically a vacuum, or opposite of it, it's shop vac, and we're just going to plug it right in here and blow it. It doesn't screw on, doesn't clip on or anything. You just go ahead and plug it right in here. All right. And this is a one-way valve, so as air blows in here, it'll increase and it will not deflate. All right. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to go ahead and do them incrementally, all four of them, until you see Christine gradually rise up here. Ready? Here we go. And also, towards the end of this, you're going to hear, it'll sound a little different. The shop vac, when it's fully inflated, you'll hear a different sound on this blower. Okay. Let me turn it off just for a second so you can hear. So you can see exactly what happened there. As it starts inflating, you can feel the tension also. That's the first layer. The next one, right over here, valve 2, once again, doesn't clip on, doesn't screw on. You just go ahead and plug it right in there. Let's go ahead and do number 3. There you go. So that's a demonstration of the HoverJack. Next, I'm going to demonstrate on the same video the use of the HoverMatt, which I'm also going to ask Josh to help me out with this as well. Some key components of this: when you inflate this, you can see the level of the HoverJack with the HoverMatt on top of it is slightly higher than the bed. You don't want the bed higher because when you transfer them over, you want them to slide in a downward motion. It makes it a lot easier. It's going to be a whole lot easier to transfer this patient. I know Christine only weighs probably about 50 pounds, but when you do have a 1,000-pound patient, this HoverMatt is a lifesaver for your back. All right. Proper body mechanics. Make sure you'll see how easy this is. You can really literally lift them with 2 fingers. But for the sake of safety, make sure you have at least 2 people, 1 on each side of the gurney. All right. So how to properly place this in here? You can see this only goes in one way. One of the big mistakes is people put it in this way, which it doesn't go in. It has to go in sideways, right over here. There's also a little snap right there. All right. All right. Am I missing anything, Josh? I think we're all set. You got anything right there?
Oh yeah. Use these straps if you'd like. They're somewhat optional depending on the number of people you have doing the lift and transfer. More people the merrier, of course. It's like we're actually missing a strap here, but we're good.
All right.
Other than that, I think we're good. So
make sure the lock on the bed is on. Okay. All right. Ready? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Slide right over easily. All right. All right. There you have it. The use of the HoverMatt, HoverJack. Keep in mind, keep the patient on here. When you're transferring them from gurney to CT, CT to gurney, always keep them on here, all right? It makes it a whole lot easier when transferring them up to the floor, up to one of the beds, or just gurney to gurney, CT to gurney, or anything else. All right, anything else?
we like to cover it with a flat sheet, but other than that, we're good.
Great, thank you guys.
Minute.
All right, one last thing, just a quick little addendum I forgot to put in the previous video is how to deflate this thing. And that's what these valves are, these covers are for. This is just a simple deflation, all right? Just go ahead and unscrew these. That's it, plain and simple. You'll feel it forcefully come out. And that's it. All right, and that's it. That's basically the HoverJack in a nutshell. All right, thanks guys.